Welcome to Iraqi Dinar News, where you receive real and authentic updates about the Iraqi dinar. Today we are discussing a topic that continues to generate significant interest among Iraqi dinar followers around the world. A question that frequently appears across investor communities, economic forums, and social media discussions is simple. Do we know what the Iraqi dinar exchange rate could possibly be in the future? In the latest discussion circulating among dinar observers, one opinion suggested that a potential rate could be somewhere around $3.80 per Iraqi dinar, while also emphasizing that this should not be interpreted as an exact figure. As always, our goal is to analyze such claims from a balanced economic perspective and separate speculation from verified information. It is important to understand from the beginning that this statement represents a personal opinion rather than an official announcement from Iraqi authorities, the Central Bank of Iraq, international financial institutions, or any recognized regulatory body. Therefore, while the comment may generate discussion, it should not be viewed as a prediction, guarantee, or confirmed future outcome. The reason discussions like this attract attention is because the Iraqi dinar has long been connected to broader conversations about Iraq's economic development, energy sector growth, government reforms, banking modernization efforts, and international financial integration. Many individuals follow Iraq's economic progress and naturally wonder whether improvements in economic fundamentals could eventually influence the value of the national currency over time. When evaluating any claim about a future exchange rate, it is important to understand what determines the value of a currency in the real world. Exchange rates are influenced by a combination of factors that include economic growth, inflation levels, foreign exchange reserves, government debt, monetary policy, trade balances, investor confidence, political stability, banking sector development, and international market conditions. No single factor alone determines the future value of a currency. For Iraq specifically, several key indicators are often watched closely by economists. One of the most important is oil revenue. Iraq remains one of the world's major oil-producing nations, and energy exports continue to provide a substantial portion of government income. Because oil revenues contribute significantly to foreign currency reserves, developments in global energy markets can influence Iraq's broader financial position. Another important factor is the country's foreign reserve holdings. Strong reserves can help support monetary stability and provide confidence in a country's ability to manage economic challenges. The Central Bank of Iraq has frequently highlighted the importance of maintaining adequate reserves to support financial stability and protect the economy against external shocks. Banking reform is another area that receives considerable attention. Iraqi officials have repeatedly discussed efforts to modernize financial systems, improve transparency, enhance compliance with international standards, and increase confidence in the banking sector. Progress in these areas is often viewed positively by international observers, because a stronger financial system can support broader economic growth, which cluster development also plays an important role. Roads, ports, energy facilities, industrial projects, technology investments, and transportation networks all contribute to long-term economic productivity. As these sectors expand, they can create opportunities for economic diversification beyond oil production alone. When individuals suggest potential future exchange rates, such as $3.80, they are often expressing optimism about Iraq's long-term economic potential. However, it is important to recognize that reaching any specific exchange rate would involve a complex combination of economic conditions, policy decisions, and market dynamics. There is no publicly confirmed roadmap indicating that such a specific value has been approved or targeted by Iraqi authorities. Historically, currency valuations are rarely determined by public speculation. Instead, they reflect underlying economic realities and policy frameworks. Central banks around the world generally prioritize stability, inflation control, financial confidence, and sustainable economic growth, rather than pursuing arbitrary exchange rate targets. This is why professional economists typically focus on economic fundamentals, instead of concentrating solely on specific rate predictions. For Iraqi Dinar followers, one of the most useful approaches is to monitor verified developments. These include official announcements from the Central Bank of Iraq, government economic reform programs, international financial reports, budget developments, foreign investment trends, and major infrastructure initiatives. These are the factors that provide meaningful insights into the country's economic trajectory. In the short term, speculation about potential exchange rates often generates discussion, but may not have a direct impact on actual economic policy. Markets generally respond more strongly to concrete developments, such as legislation, regulatory changes, monetary policy decisions, fiscal reforms, and economic performance indicators. As a result, short-term reactions to speculative figures are often limited unless accompanied by official actions. For the Iraqi economy, short-term priorities continue to revolve around maintaining financial stability, managing public expenditures, strengthening the banking system, and supporting economic growth. Policymakers typically focus on practical objectives that can improve economic resilience and encourage investment. These priorities often have a more immediate influence on economic outcomes than discussions about hypothetical future exchange rates. Looking at the medium-term outlook, economic diversification remains a major theme. Iraq has repeatedly expressed interest in expanding sectors beyond oil, including agriculture, manufacturing, logistics, technology, tourism, and private sector development. Diversification can help reduce vulnerability to fluctuations in global energy prices and contribute to more balanced economic growth. Foreign investment is another area closely watched by analysts. Increased investment can support job creation, infrastructure improvements, technology transfer, and business development. A favorable investment environment often depends on regulatory clarity, legal protections, efficient financial systems, and political stability. Progress in these areas can strengthen investor confidence and support broader economic objectives. The modernization of payment systems is also receiving attention. Around the world, financial technology is transforming the way people conduct transactions. Iraq has been working toward expanding electronic payment infrastructure and increasing financial inclusion. These developments may not directly determine exchange rates, but they can contribute to a stronger and more efficient financial system. Long-term economic prospects depend heavily on sustained reform efforts. Countries that successfully improve governance, strengthen institutions, attract investment, diversify economic activity, and maintain monetary stability generally place themselves in stronger positions for future growth. These structural improvements often produce benefits gradually over time, rather than through sudden changes. This is why analysts often caution against focusing too heavily on specific numerical predictions. A figure such as $3.80 may attract attention, but the more important question is whether economic fundamentals continue moving in a positive direction. Sustainable economic progress tends to be built through policy implementation, institutional development, and consistent investment rather than through speculation alone. Another important point for viewers to understand is the distinction between opinion and official information. In financial markets, opinions can vary significantly. Different analysts, commentators, and observers may hold different expectations about future outcomes. Some may be optimistic, others may be conservative, and still others may remain neutral. The existence of an opinion does not necessarily indicate that an event is likely to occur. Responsible analysis requires examining available evidence. At this time, there has been no verified announcement confirming a future Iraqi dinar exchange rate of $3.80. Therefore, viewers should approach such figures as speculative estimates rather than established facts. Making this distinction helps promote informed decision-making and reduces the risk of misunderstandings. For those following Iraqi economic developments, a balanced perspective is essential. Iraq possesses significant natural resources, a strategic geographic location, a young population, and opportunities for infrastructure expansion. These strengths provide reasons for long-term interest in the country's economic future. At the same time, challenges remain, including the need for continued reform, diversification, investment attraction, and institutional development. Economic progress rarely follows a perfectly straight path. There can be periods of advancement, periods of adjustment, and periods of uncertainty. This reality applies not only to Iraq, but to economies around the world. Understanding this broader context can help viewers interpret news developments more effectively. As we assess comments suggesting possible future exchange rate levels, the most prudent approach is to focus on measurable developments. Official economic reports, government initiatives, central bank communications, foreign reserve data, investment trends, and reform progress provide a stronger foundation for analysis than speculative numerical targets. In practical terms, what does this particular statement mean for Iraqi dinar followers today? The answer is relatively straightforward. It reflects ongoing optimism among some observers regarding Iraq's future economic potential. However, it does not represent a confirmed policy change, official valuation adjustment, or verified monetary decision. Therefore, it should be viewed as commentary rather than actionable economic news. The broader lesson is that currency valuations are influenced by real economic conditions. Strong institutions, effective governance, stable monetary policy, diversified economic activity, and investor confidence all contribute to long-term financial strength. These are the factors that deserve continued attention from anyone interested in Iraq's economic future. As future developments emerge, analysts will continue monitoring indicators such as oil revenues, budget performance, reserve levels, banking modernization, investment flows, infrastructure projects, and economic reform implementation. These areas collectively provide a clearer picture of Iraq's economic direction than any single speculative exchange rate estimate. Ultimately, the discussion surrounding potential future valuations demonstrates the continued interest that many people have in Iraq's economic journey. Whether one is optimistic, cautious, or neutral, the most valuable approach is to rely on verified information and maintain realistic expectations based on available evidence. Thank you for watching today's update. If you appreciate responsible, factual, and balanced coverage of Iraqi dinar developments and Iraq's economy, make sure to subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications for future updates. As always, this content is provided for informational and educational purposes only and should not be considered financial, investment, or trading advice. Always conduct your own research and consult qualified financial professionals before making any investment decisions.